we can always cut that part out.
True that. True. All right. This is Zach.
This is Mike.
This is Keura.
And this is the breath. This is the breath, the fresh, the breath fresh. This is the fresh breath
Of Bel Air.
controversy podcast. Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
This is the fresh breath of Bel Air. Today we're going to be talking about me and Mikey's trip to Japan. We were in Tokyo for 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of November in 2019, so not too long ago. And Keura here wishes she could have came.
Yes.
So
yeah, definitely. I just am gonna kind of stick around and ask some questions for you guys and just listen to your story.
Yeah, learn a little bit about Tokyo. Yeah, so where do we just start? The first day, the travel. Mikey lost his luggage on a train.
Oh, yeah, dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, so, well, I mean, it was a 12-hour flight, and it was the first time so the reason why we went to Japan in the first place is because I have a wife out there. Her name is Maya.
Hi, Maya, if you're listening.
Yeah.
And Grandma-san.
Oh, yeah, Okazan.
Okazan.
So, yeah, we left pretty early in the morning. We left on we actually left on the 31st. We left on the 31st of October at 12 or something in the morning, or 12 at night. Not 12 at night, and during the day.
No, the flight left at 11 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, so after 12 hours of traveling there, and then about a 45-minute train ride, since thank God we took the express over there.
Yeah. We were moving a little too quick, and Mike left one of his bags.
I left my backpack on there. So we're on the train to the next stop where we're going. I was like, "Where's my bag?" And so that was interesting because I had to jump off. I had no Wi-Fi. Everybody had the Wi-Fi, so I had no way to talk to anybody. No cell phone service.
Yeah, he literally disappeared for a while. We were hoping he was going to make it back.
I found my bag. Luckily, they picked it up, and I was in the back. I had to show them my passport and everything. They had to look in the bag to see if there was any contrabands or anything in that, which was totally fine. But I mean, it was cool, how they're just like, yeah, you just left it right here and walked out. I was like, fuck, dude, that sucks. But yeah. But I was able to find my way to Asakusabashi, because that's where we're staying at the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then from there, I couldn't find anybody. Luckily there was Wi-Fi at 7-Eleven, so I was able to get a hold of Alex or Zach, but basically I was literally not even a block and a half away where the 7-Eleven was at. Is literally a block, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I even tried to get a taxi cab to take me to the house, and the guy was like, "It's not even worth it. It's right there." I'm like, "Where? Right there?" You know?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, the language barrier. Yeah.
The language barrier is a big deal, and so we had 2 different translators for that. And then the Wi-Fi was because obviously we're not going to use our phones, so using Facebook Messenger was probably the best way to communicate. So if you're going to travel to Tokyo, I highly recommend.
I would say in general, if you go travel around, that's from my experience. That's what I've learned when I first went out there. First time I went there was 2015, back when me and Maya were dating, and that's how we communicated. I mean, even through now, we communicate through Facebook Messenger while she's still in Japan and while I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the best. You're not using any minutes. You just use the Wi-Fi, and you can find, if you don't have a pocket Wi-Fi, you can find Wi-Fi everywhere else. So
yeah.
How is the Wi-Fi there?
It's not bad. I mean, they offer free Wi-Fi at some train stations. This is the problem is, again, language barrier of reading the website. So you're clicking a lot of things. But at this point, I'm not worried about people stealing my identity and whatnot. If they want to steal my identity or credit score, fucking fix it, They can deal with it.
Yeah.
So
that was that was interesting.
Yeah, that was our first day. We just got to our Airbnb. It was a nice Airbnb. It was a little run down, but I mean, for what it was big. It was huge.
Well, compared to the U.S., I feel like it wasn't anything special. But every time we had locals come over, they were like, "Wow, your place is so big."
Yeah.
I was like,
"Well, I mean, yeah, space is key in Tokyo because everything. Since there's so many people in Tokyo in general, everything's compact, and even at my where my wife lives with her family, it's small. I mean, I would say like this is about the size of the whole downstairs, and then it's just another floor like this.
Do they usually live with their family too?
For the most part, yeah, because I mean, real estate's really expensive out there as well.
Yeah.
It's just a situation where family's helping out family. So I mean, they're all just sticking together. Well, Kazan doesn't really work anymore. She does some odd jobs, but Maya works. And, so does. So it's.
Kazan, if you move to the States, you don't have to do any more odd jobs. I'll take care of you. I'll take care
Gosh.
That's something you can work out with that one. Yeah, but she's great.
I gotta get her email.
Yeah, I can give you the email.
All right.
So, but I mean, and then after they got settled at their Airbnb, since of course I was there to immediately see my wife, I had to get my shit and run out and go take another hour train ride to Fujimi. That's the area where my wife lives, and spent the night over there. We'll stop. We got some curry house, which is really good curry. If you like curry, it's awesome, especially in Japan. And
the food there was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I didn't have ramen for the first time until like it was probably like our third to last day, and man, I just wanted to have it every day after that. It was a whole new experience. When you think of ramen, you're just like, oh yeah, the cheap ramen things you get,
ramen,
and it's like,
no.
No, dude,
It's
no.
so different, isn't it? I was actually looking up some
Incredible.
stuff about ramen because I was trying to like make ramen just better, not like ramen out of a thing. And I mean, some of the spices they use there, I couldn't even find in a store around here. So I would love to visit and just try their food.
I mean, even in the cheap stuff, they do use like the basic necessities like kombu and it's usually like kombu and some sort of fish flakes with it, and it's in that instant garbage, but it's dried up, it's dehydrated, and it's by that point there's a lot of preservatives and whatnot in it. But when you go to an actual place like, I mean, for me, my favorite is tonkatsu, so it's basically pork bone broth, and I can eat that for days. It's
dude.
it's
Oh,
I bet. But
yeah. Or another one is the udon, Marukame udon. Were you there with us when we had that at the?
I don't think so.
No, yeah, I think we were.
I mostly had katsuya every day.
Yeah, katsu.
what is that?
It's a chain place.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a chain,
like
okay.
no, katsuya is a style of food, but then I went to that chain. I went to the chain place.
Yeah, Katsuya is the name of the chain, but yeah, katsu.
Okay, katsu. Then,
Katsu, it's just breaded. Think of it as like Wiener Schnitzel or something like that. It's just breaded chicken, pork, or whatever. But you had obviously chicken most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah,
I'm so hungry.
it was so good. Oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about food for a little while longer. The beef. In
I
Tokyo.
don't even know the name of that place.
Holy shit, man!
It's a lot different than here.
It was like the tenderest, juiciest.
I took them to this place that I found a couple of years ago with my friends. It's a standing restaurant, so there's no seats, and it only fits about 6 to 8 people.
A standing restaurant.
Standing restaurant. It's really popular in Japan. It's actually kind of brilliant if you think about it. Like it's just you go in there, do your business, get the hell out. There's nobody camping or whatever.
Yeah.
But so you go there, and they sell slices of A1 to A5 Kobe beef by the slice. So and it's like little slices, so you'll get like one slice that costs you $3 or more.
I just gotta go back.
Yeah.
So I have to go back.
But yeah, we just had like
food.
Well, me and Alex had a beer, bowls of rice. 2 bowls or 3 bowls of rice and whatever. It was $80. I mean, at the end of it, we didn't even have that much steak, but I mean, at the same time, it was awesome. Anyways, they sell it by the slice, and then there's this little burner, and then you just grill it to your liking, and then you just take it, eat it, and yeah, I mean, it was orgasmic the first time I went, and the second time I took them.
Sugoi.
Yeah. Oshi.
Oh yeah. What was the next thing we did? What was one of the next things we did besides? Well, you guys did the whole traffic light party.
Yeah, so the next day after we traveled, the rest of the group, besides unfortunately Zach, he needed to work out, which I understand.
We can get into that next.
We went to. Well, during the day we just walked around Akihabara for a while. and then checked out the Sega arcades. I think we did that.
Yeah.
And then at night we had a traffic light party. It's called Tokyo Pub Crawl, and it was their theme was traffic light. I mean, it was good, $25. You know, you go to 4 different bars. They give you a drink at every bar, but while you're crawling to the other one, they give you shots of liquor on the streets because there is no open container laws in Japan, so you can drink in public, which is probably one of the coolest things about Japan. It's funny though because when you'll see tourists drinking all the time, and then you'll just see people who live there and like fucking drunks. Like they just, you can tell they're judging you. I was like, "What's your problem? It's only 8 in the morning. It's only 8 in the morning. I'm gonna drink some whiskey and some sake right now."
Yeah.
But and that was fun. That was a blast. It definitely was a tourist trap, but I mean, at the same time, who cares? It was in Roppongi, so Roppongi is a district where a lot of international business people live. So there's going to be a lot of Americans, a lot of people that are people from other countries that do business with Japan, and so we went to this bar and it was pretty cool. Everybody spoke English for the most part. Yeah, I mean, couldn't complain. Went to a couple other bars. Went to this one called, I forget the name of the first bar, honestly. I think it was like some margarita bar. And then we went to the second bar we went to was called Club Milwaukee, which was hilarious because there's nothing about Wisconsin in there at all, but it's called Club Milwaukee.
That is funny. That is funny.
Then after that, it turned into a blur. So I left that bar. And then went to another one where we had to walk like 9 flights of stairs. It was weird. Yeah. It was right next to this. I remember it might have been actually Club Jumanji.
Club Milwaukee, Club Jumanji.
Huh. Yeah, it was weird. They have weird name stuff. So and then that's when after that we just went home and met up with you.
Okay. So then while they were doing all that, well, before everyone kind of was exploring Akihabara and stuff, I kind of left the group and went to go work out. And I'm a gym rat, so that was like my one deal about the trip. And that's like true for any trip I go on. I'm kind of like, well, where's the local gym? And so before the trip, looked up, saw that they had, I think it was either a Snap Fitness or Anytime. I think it's Anytime Fitness.
Anytime Fitness is the one.
And then we looked up online. When I got there, they don't allow you to work out there if you have tattoos. And so I thought it was really weird. So I found a different gym. There was a Gold's Gym, but I had to take the train like an hour out, or I think it was like 30 minutes to 45 minutes out. And I ended up getting lost. I didn't get up on the right. I was on the wrong train. I thought I was on a train that was going to get off on like every little exit, and I was on the
express.
So all of a sudden, like the next stop should have been the stop, and it didn't stop. It just kept going and got faster and faster and faster and faster. And then we were like going over a body of water, and I'm like, where the fuck am I going? Right, I'm looking at my Google Maps, freaking out, like, holy shit, like, fuck. And then, so I ended up in a whole other place in Tokyo, like an hour and a half from where we were staying. And I found a Gold's Gym right next to the train station. Oh, nice. So I was like, cool, I'm going to go in there and try. And I go in there, and they're like, no tattoos. And I'm like, what the hell is up with everybody and no tattoos, Mm-hmm. So I got Mikey's wife to kind of help me out with it a little bit, and we finally found a couple different gyms that allowed tattoos. They allowed us more gaijin, more foreigners and tourists and stuff. So it eventually worked out, but by that time it was maybe 7, 8 o'clock at night, and everybody else is getting ready to go to the traffic light thing, and I'm like, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm just going to go, because... Yeah, I'm a gym junkie, so sorry. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no. Well, I heard. I think you told me it was kind of a sausage fest, anyways.
Yeah, there wasn't much. There wasn't much girls over there first, which is a bummer for Alex or now.
Yeah, whatever.
Bummer for all of us. Actually.
Sure.
For ZP mostly. No,
but no. What was I gonna say? Oh, that's probably because we did go right around Halloween. Like, we technically got in on October 31st, I think.
Actually, we left the 31st, so we left...
We left the 30th, but we lost a day on the way there. So we landed on what would be Halloween.
Right. You're right.
I think we just chilled.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And
I
then
know it
the
seems
next,
like a blur already.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. We left on the 30th, and then so it's already a day ahead over there in Japan.
Sure.
So you lose a day when you go.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we landed, it was the 31st. So I think, and that, yeah.
But the first couple of days were just a lot of us getting used to it and everything. The tattoo thing was kept becoming a problem, throughout the whole 2 weeks that we spent there. So I tried to just keep my I have like a sleeve that on my forearm and my hand, and I try to keep it covered up, every time, all the time that we were there. And I try to wear pants everywhere, no shorts, because I do have some ankle tattoos and some leg tattoos. So because every time I didn't, I did feel like there was.
They definitely look at you. So I mean, behind the whole aspect behind that in Japan is just because, which is actually kind of fading away now but culturally, tattoos usually meant that you're part of a gang or the Yakuza or something, the equivalent of Japanese mob, or also buzokus. Buzokus are bikers.
Japanese bikers. Huh?
Yeah. It's pretty weird. They're actually, there's actually a really cool Vice documentary that goes on a little bit about buzokus and how, but they faded away since like the 80s. Same thing with like the Yakuza now. I mean, I don't think they're fully gone, but now tattoos is becoming more acceptable. I mean, I know when we did family dinner with my family, no one really cared. They could care less about it.
They were awesome. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole trip, was meeting your extended family. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great, and I can't, I wanted to do it for my wife and everything, because I brought family with me too. So
we can talk about that next. I think that was the next big thing that happened. So
after
meeting
that,
the fam.
Yeah, meeting the family. So
and I got to meet the love of my life.
Oh my gosh!
So we went to, I forget the name of that restaurant too, but it was in Fujimi. So basically, I showed them basically where Maya's from. It's called Fujimi, which literally just means you can see Mount Fuji from where they're at. Which you couldn't really, because even on like a nice day, you maybe could see the top of it or something. Yeah. But we went to the restaurant, and it was a traditional family style Japanese restaurant. And so like when we went into, we had like this big open area, probably as big as this living room that no one can see, but
it was really big. It was really big, and I thought it was really cool the way, like you see in like TV shows and movies and everything, some of the Japanese culture where a lot of them, they don't like sit at a table with chairs. They kind of sit on their knees on the floor, and that's how it was. And there were like these little tables.
Shoes,
how many manners there? Like the shoes thing I've heard.
Yeah, it was like so cool. I think it takes a little bit to get used to if your knees are a little creaky or whatever, what have you. But that was just a really neat, awesome experience.
Everybody else is sitting on knees. Everybody that's white was Indian style, crisscross applesauce. Yeah. Pretty much.
Did they find that rude at all? Like,
no.
You could do that would be rude. I've heard with chopsticks too. Like if you place them a certain way on your
can't stick them. So normally, most dishes when they eat family style, you have like a big plate of your protein dish, your vegetable dish, whatever, and you normally get a little bowl of rice.
Yeah.
And you use chopsticks or hashi, it's called. And you normally kind of just bring it to your bowl, eat there. But when you set it down, you're supposed to set your chopsticks there's either chopsticks holders, or you're supposed to set them flat. A lot of people like to stab them right into the rice, which means forget. It means like you wish someone like death or something, or it's only for something that you.
I heard that.
Just you wish somebody death.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
eating
I think you're right,
and then.
I think you're right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't really know much, but like I think from what I've heard, somebody told me is when you stick it in there. I think when they some sort of tradition, like when somebody dies, if they light an incense, and that's like they have them stuck up like that.
Right,
I
with
don't
the
know,
food.
maybe.
I mean, they do. So I mean, Japan is still 90% Buddhist.
Oh, okay.
So
that was another question I was going to ask.
Yeah, so it's a lot of them are 90% Buddhist, and they usually give food to their offering, offer food to their ancestors, the people that passed on before them.
Mm-hmm.
I know I know we recently did that because I had to go see my uncle and them. I don't think you guys were there. I think I had to do that myself.
Yeah.
My aunt passed away a couple years ago, and so we had another family dinner, and of course we did that. And that's another thing too. Like when you usually go into someone's house, the first thing you do is you go to the shrine that they have, and you bring the bowl, and you have to clap twice, and then bring it up, and then you say something you say something in your mind to the person, what's like, thank you for letting me be here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, and then you bow. But I mean, going back to the family dinner, it was kind of weird because I think it was weird for, Zach and Alex and everybody else, because I was like, oh, okay, gotta stop here, take off one shoe, put your foot on this, like, the platform where you go up onto the eating area, and then put it in a cubby. Because I mean, I know here.
It was like going to a McDonald's play place as a kid. And
exactly.
Take your shoes off, put them in the cubby.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's what it reminded me of, and also like I've been doing martial arts since I was 15 years old. So we also did that kind of stuff all the time. You don't ever do karate or judo.
Right. Well,
with shoes
it's just a
lot of that stuff comes
over there. When you enter in someone's house, you take off your shoes immediately.
Yeah.
Something I'm used to. I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, and that's how they did it. So, but at dinner, they didn't have English menus. So of course, the first thing I do once my wife's here, be like, all right, read off to all of them and see what they want, and then Maya's nice enough to read everything.
Read us the whole menu.
Whole menu while I sat there and talked to the rest of my extended family members, and basically my brother-in-law, who loves to try to pick on me for being a bigger guy, and also tries to threaten me by he wants to arrest me all the time. But he's a good man. He's
a bike cop, right? He's a bike cop.
He's a bike cop. I mean, I'm not too sure if he's a motorcycle cop or a bicycle cop. I'm gonna go with the second one.
What's his name again?
Okay.
Yo Takeda, right?
Yo Takeda.
Yo Takeda. And when he told me this, like way before we went on the trip, I thought we should write a movie. Because I thought the Yo Takeda, the name Yo Takeda, is so cool, yeah? Yo Takeda, the bike cop.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So I was like, we should write a movie that's kind of like, it's like The Hangover, but it's about 4 guys that go on a trip to Japan. And what else did you tell me? You were like, all right, don't talk to anyone that looks like they belong in a punk rock emo band dressed in a suit.
I was telling
They're probably Yakuza.
If you find anybody that's like really super J-pop with like you remember the old emo haircuts, like where it's like over their eye, and if they definitely look, it's like I could beat the shit out of this guy. If we're in the right area, could be part of Yakuza. Those are the guys, yeah. Like,
so, and when he told me that, I'm like, all right, I know exactly who I'm going to make friends with, right? So, I'm like, we should write a movie about all this. And then the guy who's like, oh, I don't care, makes friends with the Yakuza, ends up getting captured by them. The others try to rescue him. They all get captured by the Yakuza. But what did you say? You were like, well, my brother's a bike cop, so if we get in any trouble, just say I know Yo Takeda, right? I know Yo Takeda, the bike cop. And I thought it would be hilarious for, like, you got the goofy guy that goes to hang out with the Yakuza and everything, and he's all tied up to a chair, and they're all, blasting or whatever, and he's like, I know Yo Takeda. And the Yakuza guys are like, they start panicking. They start squirming, freaking out. They're like, no. How? Not him. And have it be so that, like, the Yo Takeda, like your character would think that he's just some little simpleton bike cop with a little basket in the front and a ring and a little bell, like. Yeah.
But he's really One Punch Man.
But he's really, but he's really like this vigilante hunting the Yakuza.
I mean, that would probably be pretty cool. I wouldn't doubt it if it was.
You know what I mean? I was like, like the whole setup before we ever went to Japan. I was like, this would make a great. Like the next.
I just said it as a joke just because it would piss off my wife, and if something ever did happen, my brother-in-law would be happy to arrest me.
Oh my goodness!
It'd be my wife who's standing there and be like, "Fucking let him out." Like, what'd you do? And be like, nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing. I didn't do anything. But yeah, no, it was great. And then of course, So basically, so my family consists of my wife. I have two sister-in-laws, one brother-in-law, and then their family, of course. And they also have two wonderful, lovely nieces, Aoba and Kotoha. Very cute girls, very, very well behaved. But then, and then of course Okazanan, which means mother in Japanese, but Okazan. Yeah, she's a nice old lady. She's I want to say like 60.
Nice. She's perfect. Damn it, Mike. Stop underselling her.
So
she swims every Saturday and Sunday.
She swims every day.
She felt my biceps.
Out there, huh?
She felt my biceps.
Yeah.
Here we're just so unactive and lazy, and
she wanted to watch me work out.
Really?
She said she wanted
do they
to
work out a lot? Like
they do work out. I mean, they're more they're more physique and stuff like that. They're definitely not afraid to be like, you're fat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first time I met my family, my in-laws back in 2015, dude, there was when I went
they had all kinds of names for Mikey. I feel bad.
Yeah, well, whatever. No,
they're like the bull, the bear, the bison.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I had a beard. Because I have a beard. And they're like, yeah, we saw American Bison. We're definitely like,
oh, what was that thing? I screenshotted it off the translator. Talking about something else. I'm gonna pull this up.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that was always great. They're definitely like, well, they say that my wife's fat too, but my wife's like, she's probably like $120. She's right here. She's probably like $120, and she's 5'7", but she's tall.
Okay. Yeah.
She's tall for, I think she's taller than her brother, and so, yeah, but they say that she's fat, and she's not fat at all.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably wear the same clothes. It's, yeah. Anyways, it's just funny because like they're completely skinny, like tall, tiny people, and then especially when I come in their house and stuff like that, and everything, like hallways are like literally like a foot long. You could probably like hold a Subway sandwich foot long right in between the walls. It's like gosh. Yeah. Well, it's like that. It was like that too. Going through like some of the markets, like Don Quixote. Remember, like you have to like squeeze.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's everything's compact, but I mean, it was still fun. Still a blast.
Mm-hmm.
I love Don Quixote. That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah. Don Quixote was pretty funny. So
I love when how do you say mother in Japanese?
Okazan.
When Okazan, she was talking to ZP about how his family does the whole what's that?
The distillery, the
distillery. Yeah.
This guy's connected to a couple popular whiskey companies here in America, and it's
Maker's Mark. Yeah,
Maker's Mark and Basil. I don't know if I wanted to say that.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And nice. But he's a counselor at like a college. And so he was like telling all this to her, and then she like translated it back, and she basically was like, "Wow, it's amazing that all the drunks from the brewery are counseling at university." And it was like, we were like, what?
She's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Well,
the translator doesn't always like
doesn't work 100%.
100%.
But it made for good conversation.
Yeah, it definitely made for good conversation. But I mean, it was cool that we brought the translators because, I mean, again. We were there. I thought we were only going to be there for 2 hours. We were there for almost 5 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
We
that was a long.
Yeah, it was
so much fun. That was probably the highlight.
Yeah,
one of the bigger highlights.
Well, of course, with my family, they always keep on ordering beer and stuff like that because they think they know I'm drunk, but like, yeah, they're like, Mike's empty. Got to get him another one. Like, but they keep on ordering, and then at the end of the bill, they're like, who's gonna pay for it? I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
Would you say that the sake that we have here is a lot different from what they have over there?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love sake, but I want to like actually try real sake, not like some Americanized.
All of it's gone.
So good.
Too bad.
Oh, and then also, do you think the Japanese language is difficult to learn? Like, would you recommend learning that before moving there? Definitely. Or?
Yes, I would definitely try to learn how to pick it up at least a little bit. It's one of the harder languages to learn. It's up there next to Mandarin.
Okay.
So you got to think about it. So there's 3 different writing forms in the Japanese language. There's hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Hiragana and katakana are basically there's 43 letters in the alphabet. Don't quote me on that. It's 43 letters on the alphabet, but they're just 2 different writings. So Hiragana is more for like things that are in Japan that are native to Japan, and then they use katakana for westernized things. So like for instance, like the word hot dog, how they write it would be in katakana, and which is what they call hatodoku, which is really weird. But like,
That's funny though.
Hatodogu.
They always do that too.
So or like Makadanu, that's a McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah, or yeah. So it's funny how they. But like even for me, like for like so when my wife took my name, like Gygax, she had to change it to Gygaxu.
I just guessed. All right.
Gygaxu.
Gygaxu.
And then kanji is basically it's the same characters that are in Mandarin or Chinese language in general, but they mean different things. So there's 2,000 different characters in kanji.
Oh my gosh.
And so when you look at buildings and like street signs in Japan, you'll see a mixture of all three. And the problem is sometimes the kanji works as spacing in sentence structure. So because like I was trying to learn something, I was trying to read something about like why don't they just take away kanji? Because I mean, or like at least use it for like more formal things and whatnot. And it's part of their sentence building structure. So it's if you actually
fascinating. Fascinating. I would say watch a lot of anime.
I mean, watch a lot of anime.
You can kind of pick up on certain things.
Yeah.
I have like with certain things. It's hard.
Konnichiwa. And my favorite. Watashi wa baka gaijin.
What is that?
I am a dumb foreigner.
Oh my God. I'm a dumb foreigner. Yeah. So, I mean, I'd suggest also another thing I'd suggest is like if you do try to learn it, try to stay away from Romaji. Romaji is a westernized version, so they basically use our alphabet to sound out how it's supposed to be. So a lot of these apps like Duolingo, Memrise,
I use Duolingo, yeah.
I mean, Duolingo's a good one. I mean, I like Memrise too, but they use Romaji. Sure. And I mean, when I was living in Japan for a little bit, I was every day like 3 hours doing what you call it?
Just practicing.
Practicing.
Yeah.
It would help sounding things out, but I mean, when it came down to like, how do you write this? I'm like, no clue.
It sounds a lot like very similar. Like I tried to learn a little bit of Japanese on Duolingo just because why not? And a lot of the words like it would sound out something and you'd have to select what it was, like what letter or whatever, and it was so hard for me because it just sounded the same. Like it's their accent too.
Just
I'm
watch
sure.
Anime. Just anime.
I mean, I do watch anime.
Yeah.
Too,
Well, I mean, what's pretty cool
no English.
So out of like the 40, like out of the 43 languages, you know how it's like A, E, I, O, U for our vowels and stuff. But like for them, it's not even necessarily vowels, but it basically goes A, I, U, E, and then it goes like I, U, yeah. Well, no, and then it goes she. It's like she, ku, you know, yeah. But I mean, it follows that structure, but they add a little bit more words where it's like either she, ku, and then again, it's also like trying to. That's another thing I noticed is like it's kind of funny like how sentence structures around the world besides English almost connect like the way they're structured out. Like I don't know. I can't really.
Language, man.
Crazy.
Language. All right, back to the good stuff. What else do we do in Japan? Besides,
Robot Cafe.
Yes.
Oh,
no, before we get to Robot Cafe, we gotta talk about the Maid Cafe.
We
get the Maid Cafe first. The Maid Cafe came first, bro. And we got a whole story with that. I think I kind of caught something there at the end. I don't know if you guys are kind of on your way out, or maybe you'll remember here.
No, you went to the bathroom though, didn't you?
I did, and then I came back and I saw the guy with the. We'll get to it. All right, so the Maid Cafe was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So they're all over the streets, especially, I mean, everywhere, but definitely in Akihabara. They have these little girls dressed up in. I mean, they're not little girls; they're grown women, but like Keura. But they're dressed in little maid costumes, trying to hand you little pamphlets, right? Like Mormons, and they're trying. And they come at you like zombies. They come at you like stray cats. There's like down every road,
street, yes.
down walking down the street. There's like 20 of them on each side of the sidewalk. They're all like, you want to come?
Trying to invite you to come.
They're basically trying to promote their thing. But
dude.
There's not only maid cafes, so there's also like high school cafes. There's cafes for
cat
cat cafes,
otter cafes,
seal,
fucking. bachelor cafes,
Yes.
owl cafes,
Yeah. So, anyways,
furry cafes.
Oh.
Fucking
pretty much,
nuts,
if you can think of it, they
Fucking
probably have a
nuts.
cafe for it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is a weeb's like dream.
So yeah, we
Sure.
went to a popular one. I forget what it was called. It was like Matarin or something. But
I don't know.
we just did it spur of the moment. We weren't gonna do it. We're like, screw it, let's do it. You have to pay like a certain amount for an hour or something.
Yeah, you get in there, you're in there for an hour, and and then you order drinks or whatever. They don't really have a lot on the menu and anything.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like peanuts on the table, like.
Yeah. But I mean, you could order food if you wanted to pay more, and then of course you could pay for more things. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of hard to explain because like we don't fully know it either. But like I guess there's some people. So I guess I think for the maid cafes, a lot of people should know that a lot of and we've learned this from the lady who was driving us around. But she said a lot of males that are in Japan, it's so like it's the reason why it's so sexual because especially a lot of like the men who are over 40% of them are still virgins.
Oh wow.
So like there's a lot of it. They're nervous around women, so they go to these maid cafes, and like there were some older men there, but there was also some younger looking dude, especially the guy with the fedora.
Oh my god! I can't wait. We gotta say that for like the last.
bit. So anyways, like we go in there, and we got in there in the right time because like someone paid for one of them to dance on the stage, and like to sing this song, and like it was.
They got glow sticks.
Awesome, because one girl has glow sticks. She's at the edge of the stage, just standing there at first, like bent down, and then once it got to the part of the song, she cracks the things, like she slaps him and just starts going real hard, like swinging her arms around.
It's like she's drumming.
She's air drumming with the glow sticks.
Yeah, it's like a drummer / lightsaber battle by yourself.
Right.
Okay, with glow sticks, and she's just going ham at it, dude.
Yeah.
And then you got another girl like with a microphone, like doing her little dances on the stage, like in front of her. And we were like right next to the stage. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'll throw a clip in of me and Mikey jamming to the Maid Cafe.
Yeah, I have that clip too. That was hilarious.
Dude. Yep.
So, anyways, like, and they come around and they're just doing their job. The maids, they're not doing anything sexual. Like they.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and there's actually certain ways you have to ask for certain things. So yeah, what was it like?
Hold on. So in order to get one of the maids, your server's attention, you had to say nyang nyang, which is the Japanese way of saying meow meow like a cat.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had to go nyang nyang.
Yeah, hold your hands up like
and
a
then
cat.
you had to hold your hands up like a cat. So fucking weird.
Yeah,
and then another one was if you wanted to go to the restroom, I forget what the phrase was, but you had to ask for the flower garden.
Yes.
Oh.
Instead of asking for the restroom.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah,
this
it was
thing
like
was
a weird.
Very interesting.
It was like a weird form of BDSM in a sense. No.
Yeah, this is some strange form of humiliation.
Yeah.
This was you know what I mean? This was definitely fucking weird.
Oh
but to go back to one of your earlier points, there is a huge, there's a big gap in, maybe gap's the wrong word. There's a big difference in the male and the female population. There's way more guys than there are women in Japan, and I think it is something crazy. I should look up the stats here, but it is something wild, and I think that's kind of what leads to some of this is you have all these guys. There's not enough girls to go around, right? So you got all these guys who are, you have more people who are going to be virgins. On the guy in the spectrum.
I have no idea. I mean, I remember having this conversation with my wife before about this, but she was telling me like it's not strange in Japan for women to have multiple boyfriends. Like, and it's I know it sounds weird at first, but it's not like someone that you're hanging out with all the time, and then also probably hooking up with. You actually have one person that you like to go to movies with.
Sure.
And that's that one person. They got another person that's like you like to go. Like to study together or whatever. They got that guy. Yeah. Or you can have like, it's not weird for them to have like 3 or 4 dudes. And like only one dude's actually plowing it.
It seems like it's more about like companionship.
Well, there's definitely disassociation with the companionship too. Like I know also Japan's having a really problem with having babies right now.
Oh, okay.
They're choosing not. Women are choosing not to have kids because they want to become successful before they have kids, which I don't blame. I think it's a great idea, but it's coming to the point where China is facing now, or they were facing before. Because you remember how China had a population control where they couldn't have one child or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then like 10 years ago, there was a big problem saying that there's too much older. There's way more senior citizen than there is younger folk in China. And so right now they're worried about that's going to have happen the same thing with them.
Yeah.
Because women don't want to have kids. And so, but anyways, like, yeah, getting back to
Maid Cafe.
Maid Cafe.
Maid Cafe was wild.
So I mean, yeah, we're there. We had a few beers. They were about to close anyways. We went late. That's why.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So as they were closing, I had to use the flower garden, and so there was this guy that was sitting in the room with us on the other side of the room, dressed in like a black suit. This guy looked like an anime character. Okay?
Oh God.
He was dressed in a black suit,
Yeah.
and I think it was like a golden tie almost. And he had like a black fedora, and it was tilted so far down the front of his face that I don't know if he could actually see anything. If he could, it must have been barely over, or just above his eyes, because it was so low. And it was so much like it was like an anime character. It was so weird.
And
he had a suit.
Him and he'd say something, and he'd lift his hat up or something.
Well, there was. I was watching him a little bit. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? And it was weird because when the maids were like dancing, he'd be like sitting there, and all of a sudden, like nothing else he wouldn't move or anything. He would just kind of like
just sit there.
Smile. He would like smile to himself, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with
so
this guy?
Strange.
And all he had with him, I don't think he had a drink on him or nothing. All he had was a black suitcase. It was up on a chair or on the table or something like that. He had a little, or like a purse. It was a briefcase. And so I went to the bathroom. Everyone was paying and stuff like that, at the front. And we're all getting ready to go. And I look back, and everyone was kind of ahead of me. And I look back, and you could pay to get up on stage with one of the maids and take a picture, right? It's like $5 to $10 or something like that. And one of our friends actually did that, and we gave it to another buddy as a gag gift or something like that. So, but this guy, the fedora hat guy, is getting up on stage. He pulls out a golden tanto, which is like the small samurai sword. Yeah. And that's made for in the Bushido code. That's made for killing themselves, right? That's made for that's a suicide one where they have to stab themselves in the gut.
Oh my gosh.
What's it called? The seppuku, I believe.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So he pulls out a golden samurai sword, a little tanto, right? And he hands it to the maid, and he gets on his knees and bends his head over. And then the girl lifts the knife up, and they take a picture like that. But I'm watching it. I'm watching the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh!" And he's handing him a knife and everything, and I'm just like, "What the fuck? Where am I right now? What the fuck is going on?"
Are swords and weapons and guns regularized or regular?
Probably not.
I mean, I don't think it's not they're not used as much as I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't think no one's carrying around samurai swords. Okay?
Yeah, no one's carrying
That's so fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
And they seem chill about it when he pulled that out.
Yeah, no.
Everybody was chill about it. Yeah, it wasn't like he pulled a gun out, you know what I mean? Everyone was just like, oh, okay,
I think
they just knew what to do. They knew what to do. He must be a regular.
We remember later on we found out a lot of these gentlemen or weebs, they actually follow online, because each girl has a different persona, and they put their picture on the wall. It's like, oh, who's here today?
Yeah.
And then, so they'll get these books, and they'll get signatures and pictures with every girl. Mm-hmm. So they'll visit. So we were at Akihabara. So they're at Akihabara today, and then they might go check out Shinjuku or Ikebukuro.
They gotta collect,
area and collect all. Yeah, you gotta collect them all, basically, in a sense.
Collect all the suicide pictures.
Yes. No.
Harry Carey.
That was that one thing though that you remember. Alex paid 600 yen to pull something out of the box, and he got basically the popper gun. You remember that?
Yeah.
And that lady was hilarious. So there's this cute girl, and she's giving us, and she's talking to us, and while they were playing the song, she's pop the the party poppers, the ones that shoot out little confetti. Uh-huh. So Alex pulled in and goes pop. She goes, oh, and
all over her face.
Yeah,
all over her face.
Wipes her eye, pretending something. They're just geeking out, dude. She goes, oh. Dude, she knew what she was doing. But see, at the same time, they're just playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably making a lot of money doing that too.
You know what? I don't know.
I guess you don't really know.
I don't know because you can't. They don't tip out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Japan, they don't tip. They make hourly.
Okay. There's no like gratuity at all. Like.
I mean, well, they do have like table. I mean, like I'm sure it's integrated into the price, but I mean, it's also kind of like I guess it's bad form to try to tip them.
Yeah.
You know, because
it's a very American thing, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's American and Australian thing.
Okay.
Where people tip. Everywhere else, it's all integrated in. But I mean, I've been at bars before in Japan where I'm like, nah, dude. If it's nobody around, it's like, nah, dude. You were a good bartender.
Yeah.
Take it. Like, I'm giving you my respect. I'm not trying to disrespect.
Respect that a lot.
Right. Well, no, some of them do. Like, I've actually done that at the. Because there was that bar right next to that hostel. That place was cool. We should have gone there.
Yeah.
We made friends with those guys. But, yeah. And so that was with the Maid Cafe.
The Maid Cafe. And then we got the Robot Cafe. That was so dope. Here, I'll show you guys like some clips from the Robot Cafe. There was some samurai dances. There was the light shows.
Honestly,
insane.
It was a whole hodgepodge of whatever.
Dude.
A lot of things too that were like ripped off of like Power Rangers and like
Final Fantasy, Terminator.
Yeah, but it was honestly like
one person literally came out in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume.
But he was like Toad Man. He was like it was something ridiculous like
Toad
that.
Man.
It was like Toad Man. It was like you must
your flower power.
Right.
He like blasting the bad guys. And all of a sudden you hear like the Power Ranger theme song.
Yeah, there was some it started out real cool though because it started out like feudal Japan blah 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 and like they brought out like two samurai dudes and then they came out and then all of a sudden they just started breakdancing out of nowhere
fighting each
other. Sounds like a weird club. Like
it was amazing.
It's a show. Yeah, it's what 80. Honestly, the best $80 I've spent. I would go back to it again.
And that was the night I drank. I think I started off with some bubble tea. First time I had bubble tea. That stuff is amazing.
Is that an alcoholic drink?
No. It's not. So it's really popular in Hawaii and in most Asian places. I think they have it here in like probably Milwaukee or Chicago. But basically, it's tapioca. It's just giant tapioca balls, and then either you have it with like a tea or a blended drink. Okay. So, like my favorite's like I like to do avocado and coconut milk smoothie. I know it sounds weird.
That actually sounds really good.
The avocado makes it creamy.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you have these balls and you suck it in. That's the only thing is I think a lot of people have a problem with it. Or like most Westerners would have a problem with it because of you're drinking it and you're chewing something next. You know, you're like, what's this?
That's kind of like boba.
I love it.
That's exactly what it is. I think that's exactly what it is. Boba.
Yeah,
well, boba pops.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, so this is chewy. So think of it like you can actually get that same tapioca at like Yogi's probably. I bet you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never been in there, but I mean I've seen everybody's been to the yogurt places.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
So
oh yeah, they've got those balls. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just take that and you like say you go to Sabai over here, get a Thai iced tea, and then just take those black balls. Put them in there.
Interesting. Okay.
Boom. There you go.
It's really good.
There you go.
But yeah. Yeah, we had a good. That was a fun night.
And I think that was the night we went to the strip club and had a blast. There was a whole wild story too, though, because nobody none of them spoke English. Mm-hmm. None of them spoke English. They're all like, "You're not allowed here. Sorry."
Yeah.
Gaijin. No gaijin.
Yeah, it was a problem. Like we would try to go. Basically,
and we were weary of the Nigerians because Alex read a story about how there was like.
They take your credit card and ring it up, but I mean that's why you don't. But I mean,
they do that. The scammers are everywhere.
Scammers everywhere. Exactly. This is why you talk to your credit card companies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alex, I think Alex was freaking out about the wrong things because honestly, like Tokyo's been rated like the #1, like almost
safest place
to be for numerous of years. Mm-hmm. Maybe not #1, but I mean honestly, I've never felt threatened by anything over there.
Me either.
Even in the sketchiest places. Didn't really feel that threatened. I'm like,
yeah, I
could get out of here still.
Then again, Alex is like half your size. So
but that's the thing too. It's like, the only time I did
he's looking around like
the only time I did feel like you need to get the hell out of my way was when that dude was like, I need to find a 7-Eleven to get money, and the dude was walking us there, and I was like, can you not? Like, I was
that's
telling him,
fucking weird.
He's like, no, because he's trying to. I'm sure these guys get paid to go take us to these places, but. Yeah, anyways, I think Yeah, but that was went to this. That was pretty fun. I mean, it's expensive over there.
I think we went there and we
went there the one time because there was nobody there, or it was like couples. No, it was packed. It was full of couples, and it was really weird.
It was really weird. We're like,
no. We said no. This is another time, the day before.
But no, we did go that night because I was drinking. I drank the bubble tea, and then I kept drinking.
That same. We went to the same club.
Yeah, we went to the same
place.
Went to
the same club before. We tried to go to a strip club before, and it just didn't seem like it was working out. So we were like, whatever.
Yeah.
But the Robot Cafe, we did. We tried to just go into any of them, and they were like, no English. We're like, no English or no English speaking. They're like, no English speaking. I'm like, all right, cool.
Why do you think that?
Because again, it could be underground run things.
Okay.
Or there is a stigma against, especially with Japanese men that, why is white guy here picking up our ladies, know?
Yeah.
I'm sure some
the big dicks here, get them out.
No, I mean...
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
But honestly,
wink.
I wish we went into that one place twice because that dude, the Filipino dude that was like our butler, was hilarious.
He was awesome.
He was awesome.
They loved us, dude. They loved us. Yeah. That was a blast. It was reasonably priced and everything.
I mean, $60 an hour is not bad at all. I don't know. You got a little bit more than I did, so... I mean, it's free
everything was reasonably priced there.
Yeah, it was free drinks for an hour. So I mean, I drank like 10 whiskey cokes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like we were down in those drinks. So
well,
it's
because I was like, you're gonna charge me $60. F you, slam.
I was gonna say,
drinks,
no, actually, at those kind of places, they are strong.
Sure.
Because they want to get you drunk to make. Like if
you start making bad decisions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But that was hilarious too because we were geeking out because one stripper came on to the song. I don't know if you ever heard "Moo" from Doja Cat.
Oh yeah.
She came out. I was sitting there. I was like, no way, they're playing this song. And it was this stripper just like, bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a. It was like,
oh my God,
that's hilarious,
so
dude.
Would you say that the strip clubs are a little bit different? Like
way different. They're definitely just top only. Huh. I mean, I'm sure we can go to other.
I would say they're class. I would give it almost a little bit of a classier feel than like the average run of the mill strip club here.
This is true because the waiters and stuff were wearing like vests and ties and stuff.
Well, look, I mean, we haven't got into this yet, but I was a dancer for 2 years, so it's like for having worked at a place, it's like the way they ran everything was a little classier.
Sure,
but there definitely seems like some sort of like underground thing going on because when you get in there, you come in with a dude that like drags you in there, and they're like, okay, how many? And like, what's the deal? And they're like, all right, come in, sit. Like, there's definitely like some sort of like. I wonder if like there's got to be a kingpin in that one alleyway. You know what I mean? And he's making a cut out of everything because it's funny.
What if the kingpin was the guy that was going to follow us to the 7-Eleven?
No,
if anything, what if he was?
It would have been the other black guy that wouldn't let us.
What if he was?
What if he was? Dude, no way. Because you remember he called some other dude. We waited 5 minutes and like this Japanese guy comes up and he has like 4 cell phones, like different things. He's like, "You want tits? You want to touch them? Fuck them." I'm like, "No, dude, we just want."
Titty bar.
Like he calls and he's like, "What?
What do you want?"
And like he's taking us to this. Dude, it was funny. Like
he did have like 4 cell phones.
Yeah, he did like 4 cell phones on him, and he's like in a he's like in a jogging suit.
I was gonna say, he was like in a regular everyone. Some of these guys were all dressed up to the nine, in suits. Some of them were just like. Look like whatever, like they look like street hustlers. This guy would look like
more than just this dude that was like my friend, please come, let me take you to this place, my friend. I'm like, no, you basically like you ever been in the mall and you see like those people that are doing like the Dead Sea, the Dead Sea kiosk. It's like let me exfoliate your skin.
They won't leave you alone.
Yes, it's exactly what they're doing.
Oh God.
But it's on the street and they're like.
And the guy with the phones, didn't he have like a red baseball cap on backwards? He looked like Ash Ketchum running like the kingpin Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. But that guy was hilarious, dude.
So
Or it's funny because like even the first time we met up with another dude, and I don't know, whatever. But that was fun.
Yeah.
Maybe go harder next time.
Well, where else did you guys go? Like, what else did you guys do that was different?
I was gonna say, do you have the itinerary?
Yeah. Sorry, I should.
It's kind of hard to remember because we are
on your Snapchat, you guys like rented like those cars or something, and you were going down the road.
Mario Kart.
So small, like
so
you ride those
totally.
on the road?
the adrenaline rush is real.
Yeah. So there's this company. It started out years ago. It was called Mario Kart.
Sure. Yeah.
And basically, the idea was you could dress up like different Mario Kart characters and drive around. Unfortunately, a couple years later, Nintendo sued them for it. So, but now the company's still around. It's not called Mario Kart anymore. I forget what it's called, but
Speed Racer.
yeah, something like that. But you basically, you can come in, you can rent suits from them, or for free. You can change to different suits, or you can actually. They said you can dress up as your favorite Mario character if you buy the character, if you buy the costumes already. There's no problem with that. But I mean, how much was that, the whole thing? Sorry, let me look at.
Seems like a very touristy thing.
It was a very touristy thing, but honestly, it was probably one of the best ways to actually see like the surrounding area of Tokyo, because we went to 4 different spots. You know, they also show you like the biggest shrine in Tokyo, which that was pretty cool too. We did that.
Yeah. It was kind of it's almost sad because we kind of saved that towards the second half of the trip. We probably should have done that way earlier on because it gives you a really good. It's a tour, right? You know, we had so much fun though.
No, we did it in the middle. It was November 7th when we did that. So I mean, we did kind of. But I mean, yeah, we should have done it earlier because and our guide was super cool. She was this half Japanese, half Filipino girl. And like, of course, how me and my uncle would joke around and whatnot. She would like turn around, like, I'll be like, Uncle Al, stop. You know, stop touching me there. And she just turns around and be like, incest? Is that what you're into? I don't judge. I was like, no, lady, you don't know us. So I was like, she's like, whatever, it's cool. But yeah, she was like, she's like, we're going pretty fast. She's like, we can either check out this lame site or we can drive for like another half an hour. Like, let's drive. Yeah. So those go-karts, they do go pretty fast, but the only problem is like with my fat ass, you have to like stomp on the gas pedal like twice and like scooch it up. But another thing that does kind of get a little worried is like when the buses or the taxi drivers, those guys get super close to you.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, I would do it again.
Oh hell yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's like, I think we paid, it was like $80 a person.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, because it came out to like 3 something. So it was like, $320. So we paid like a little over $80 a person, and then it's another 20. So it's like $100 because you have to go to AAA and get the international driver's license.
Okay.
It's worth it for $100, and then I would have signed up for the 4-hour one, honestly.
Next time.
I would have
Next time.
Yeah, we did 2.5 hours, but it was still great.
It was a lot of fun.
And then we did we did try to check out the Imperial Palace and the Eastern Gardens, but I guess it was like some sort of holiday, so the palace was closed, so that was a little bit of a bummer. But I've been to the palace before, and it's all right. There's a lot. I mean, if you want to learn more about the history and stuff like that, definitely go check it out. It'd be really cool.
For that one, maybe check out the documentary on Netflix before instead of going to it, wasting a day on it.
Yeah. And then the shrine. We went to the shrine. That was really cool.
The shrine.
Meiji Shrine.
Oh, you might not have gone here. I don't think you told me, but the Japanese suicide forest is a thing. Did you ever
we thought about it?
Yeah.
I think wasn't it kind of far out?
It is kind of far out. Yeah, it is. It was kind of far out, but honestly, like, I think I was going to try to go there. I was going to try to convince my friend Sean, because you remember we did something, we split off and I did something with my friend Sean, and he was like, we're going to go to Fuji. I was like, what? All right, cool. So I've had a friend from high school who was in the Navy. He wanted to hang out. I thought we were just going to hang out, have some beers and chill. And he's like, no, we're going to go to Mount Fuji, take pictures. And I think I had a chance to go there, but Alex was like, no. I don't want to go to a forest where people kill themselves. But it's a thing. It's close by Fuji.
Huh.
But I mean, like, I would still kind of check it out just because, why not?
I feel like now, since that whole thing happened with Logan Paul, if you guys know about that, he filmed a dead body in the suicide forest on YouTube, and he got a lot of backlash for that. I think now, I feel they probably have some regulations and something, because that was so...
I think, and it's fascinating, the suicide rates in Japan are fascinating. I actually have some stats here. So it's like 71% of suicides in Japan were male, and it is the leading cause of death in men between the age of 20 and 44. And yeah, they say the suicide rates are coming down a little bit, but that's insane. And I think it lends into some of the whole there being more men than there are women, and there's not, and they have a lot of this awkwardness in their dating and sexual relations in general.
Yeah, well, what it comes down to, I think, my experience, not that I'm like, a professor on the Japanese culture or whatnot, but the way, like, how it seems from, talking to my wife and whatnot, it's just like how it's not about you when you go into the world. You know how we grown up and we're adults now. It's like, we're part of this family. I'm part of a Gygax, whatever, but I'm not representing Gygax or whatever. How it works out there is you're representing the whole family, not just yourself, your mom, your dad, your sister, all that. So if they don't do something right, or if they keep on failing, they feel like they failed not only themselves but their whole family, and that they're not worth to be around for it. So that's why they have these, like, conniptions where it's like, do I keep on trying or do I just end it all? But at the same time, it's just like, I think that's how it was. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain because, like, it's even like when I talk to my wife about some things, it's like her mentality of things is very cut and dry. And at the same time, it's like, listen, sweetheart, it doesn't really work that way. It's like, let's be a little bit more open about it, But, I think it's just, they're really strict. But I mean, that's also why they're such good at, like the food at convenience stores. Like, when we were there in Japan, we hardly went to any, we went to, like, maybe 3 or 4 restaurants.
Yeah.
But every day it was like, where are you going to go? 7-Eleven. Go there. Perfect. Yeah. Even though they reheat it up, like, it's like some of it's reheated food. Probably...
It's amazing.
It's probably better than some of the food than half the restaurants in town here.
Their culture in general is just...
Yeah. Well, it's like this. So it's like, if I'm going to be a McDonald's fry cook, I'm going to be the best McDonald's fry cook I can be. That's how it is. Like, or if I'm going to be a janitor, like, as much as they don't want to be a janitor, it's like, I'm going to do my best. Until they do something else, which I think it'd be really cool.
It's the best way to be, man. That's how everyone should be. America would be so much better off if we could learn some of that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They do have their fair share of different people out there. And then actually, the amount of homeless in Tokyo, you'd be surprised. I think I only saw 3 homeless people.
Oh, wow.
The whole time. There's not a lot of... And it's cool. I've looked it up before. It's like, it's not even drug problem. It might be a little bit of mental health issue problem, but mostly it's because of alcoholism. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's because there's one dude right outside of our Airbnb.
Yeah.
She had some dope shoes on.
He had just drinking outside your Airbnb?
No, I think I gave him a cigarette once, but I didn't give him any beer. But, well, it's because they can get out of vending machines. If they have enough coin, you can get beer out of vending machines. So.
Oh, the vending machines there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the line.
Those
what kind do they have?
Freaking awesome.
Explain them.
Hot coffee, soup.
Hot coffee. You get
Monster, Red Bull, everywhere coffee.
Coke, Pepsi products.
Yeah, teas, water.
These are like just on the street?
Yeah, they're just on the street. Yeah. There's different. They're mixed. Their coffee is a lot of it's like Mr. Boss, Wanda, Suntory.
They also had like action figure ones.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, there's these places where you can go. Just collect like knickknacks and different like. I don't know. Honestly, if you could think of it, they put it in a vending machine. Like I've actually, when we went to meet up with Sean, my friend Sean, like it was early in the morning, but I was like, oh man, I'm hungry. But when we got to one station right by, I think it was Ibitsu, they didn't have like, how they have like a little bit like little convenience stores there. They didn't have one. They had a vending machine that was part of a Lawson's or a Family Mart vending machine. Wow. So they had like like hot dogs or corn dogs in the vending machine. And you
That's
can
really
just get
convenient.
it. Yeah.
Should have some around here.
Honestly, I mean, from some late night drunks, honestly, that might be a thing. Try to pass that off.
Yeah.
If you could have some hot sandwiches at like right outside of Thumbs.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they'd make so much money. Like, why don't they do that?
I mean, just charge them $5 per sandwich too.
I don't know.
$5. They would do it. You know they would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but.
Or even just like some like sweet treats or like some desserts or something for drunk people. Like a greasy burger.
Or maybe like a little pizza roll dispenser.
Oh my god,
dude, that's how you get me. Yeah. I won't even be drunk. I'll be going there sober. 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 at night. Pizza rolls? Pizza rolls? I would just be like, I'll have like a large quarter thing, a string of quarters. Mm-hmm. Just put my mouth right outside the dispenser.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah, but what else? Like, yeah, I know you can get eggs. Where else did we go? Yeah. I mean, we just pretty much.
There was pornography and like there was all kinds of weird stuff on some of the side alleys. This wasn't as popular, but it was popular enough. Like I saw it in not just one place, like a few different spots, a few different alleys and everything. There were like DVD,
like these DVDs,
bad DVDs you could buy. Girls' panties. Okay, it was like really, really strange to see that out in the open, right?
Yeah.
Like think about where you got to go to America to get that kind of stuff. It's like some weird shop every one out of every 7 towns. Or something,
well, you remember that one?
Some weird surfer-looking guys with the midget surfer guys at the counter, like, hey, let's hook you up with.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like,
well, you know what's kind of funny was how we ran into that one porn shop, not even looking for it. That was hilarious.
Okay. Dude, okay, so everyone, when we got back, was like, how was Japan? And I was like, oh, it's great, blah, blah. But I always tell them this story. I always told them this story about how I was like, yeah, it was, like, there was a little weird. Some things were great. Some things were a little weird, a little interesting. One thing was, there was porn everywhere. So you'd, like, go into a graphic tee shop. The first floor is graphic tees. The second floor, porn. Third floor, porn. Fourth floor, midget porn. Fifth floor, transvestites and child porn. Okay? Then you go across the street to like a pharmacy place, right? Or a gas station. First floor, gas station. Second floor, porn. Third floor, porn. Fourth floor, porn. Fifth floor, transvestites and child porn. Okay? Then you go over here to, it's like a ramen place.
I think you should rephrase the child porn. I think you should rephrase the child porn. It's more of like hentai, so it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
What's the legal age of consent out there?
That's something I don't know, like and I don't want to know.
Yeah.
In a sense, but I mean, you definitely do have to be careful. But like my rule of thumb is, if you could see them in a schoolgirl thing, or if they're around, don't even look at it, touch them, talk to them. But that's also a problem with like these cafes and stuff. And I mean, that's something you could probably look at the statistics of how many statutory rapes or whatever that's happened over there.
Yeah.
It's probably high because one is they definitely fetish over that a lot.
Like that whole Lolita thing or whatever. Is that Japanese or is that?
I don't
even know what that is.
Word?
What is Lolita?
Well, I first heard it with Jeffrey Epstein, because of the Lolita Express or whatever. And then when I had looked up, like, what the hell does this mean? From what I looked up, it seemed it was like the whole underage, like being or sexualizing underage women. Like, I don't even know what it means though. Like, is that a term for
that's something.
Or?
That's something we might have to look into.
Yeah, we could do
later. But I mean, I know when we went to, because I took Zac to some comic, some anime stores and
manga shops and stuff.
And like some of them are legit, like 6 floors of like actual like stuff, but there was one in particular where you go on the bottom floor and it's just straight smut and the kind of like, I mean, I shouldn't say like whoever that's their thing, but like I remember one of them. Luckily, I didn't see it again, but there was one called Milky Parfait. That was the worst one I saw. And it was basically like elementary school girls getting plowed by like old men.
Yeah, I feel like they do have kind of a weird like.
Yeah, they do have
over there.
Yeah, so I mean like, but But yeah,
Americans do too, though. Americans definitely do.
I mean, everybody has their own thing too. It's just like it's just funny how not funny. It just amazes me how it's out in the open like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it makes me kind of, you know. But I mean, this is why, like, you know, like I'm sure you've heard of, like, you know, women getting felt up on trains and stuff in Japan. That. Yeah, so that's why, like, at certain times of the day, and it usually happens in the morning during commutes. So actually, like, during those times, the first 2 or 3 train carts are for women only. So that's what they're doing that. Sure. And but I mean, that, you know, at least they're doing something about it, I think.
Yeah,
but I mean, who knows how much it actually helps.
And so, I heard that Zach, you told me you couldn't talk on the train, right?
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. It was like a library rule almost. It's like,
yeah, you're not supposed to talk, or you're not supposed to, like, play loud music on your normally just earphones and stuff. It's just more of a respect thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course, but obviously, picking your nose and eating your boogers is not on one of the.
Dude, all right, I'm gonna show you a clip here of this guy picking his fucking nose.
That's actually my favorite part of
Oh
Japan.
My god, yeah.
I think you have a video of that, right?
Here it is. Here's the video of it. Yeah, that was disgusting. It was hilarious. We caught him on multiple. It was like at least twice. I had at least 2 videos. It was at least twice. I had on Snapchat there. I think I only got the one video, but oh my god, dude, that was so fucking grown man,
hard,
yeah,
eating hard, just did not give a shit. Oh my god. Well, it's funny because we pointed him out because it was like a Thursday night, and I was like, we were stopped at one train station. I was like, because I told him, like, Thursday and Friday nights are pretty funny to see because businessmen usually close deals, and how they do it in Japan is when they close deals, they get shit-faced. And so when we're at this one stop, we're like, dude, look at that. And there's like a guy up against the wall just like this. Like with his briefcase out, and then everybody's like, dude, look at that dude. And he was just like, what? Like, I was like, you're my hero. I was like, going hard. Man. I showed my wife that, and she's like, he's not Japanese. He doesn't look Japanese. I'm like, yeah, honey, even if he wasn't, you know, it's like.
It's still like
he's
gross.
still here, you know. So,
yeah,
he's still here. No, but yeah, what else did we do? Chucked out the Meiji Shrine. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
Asakusa Shrine.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think that is the Meiji Shrine.
Okay, yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved they had a little section for like poets and writers and stuff. Like a grave, like a.
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of different shrines. So like, it's a big temple at first, and you can pray to it and everything. And I think I even did my fortune. I got the bad fortune this one. I think I got the worst fortune. But you know what's funny about that? The first time I went there, and I got the best fortune. Everything went crashing down. So maybe it's backwards. Maybe I'll just
yeah.
So we'll see what happens on that one.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but because you throw a coin you throw a coin and you grab like this like wooden cylinder thing, and it has like chopsticks in it. So you shake it up, and then it has a little hole where one little chopstick comes out, and you take it out. You look for the symbol to this drawer, and you pull it out, and it tells you what you pull out this paper and tells you your fortune.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think I did that this time, and I got the worst fortune.
What was your fortune? Did you get one?
I don't know if you did.
I didn't get one. Yeah, I didn't get a fortune.
We were kind of all over the place. It was more or less like we were sitting.
Yeah.
It's like if we're gonna leave somewhere, it's like, buddy, you know, it's like, all right, let's meet up together.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot to see there too.
Well, it's just again like when someone goes to a place, you know, something exotic and foreign like Japan, it's definitely like a place like Tokyo. It's sensory overload. When you go in there, lights everywhere.
Oh yeah.
People. Yeah. You know, but I'd say that, I mean, even if it's loud, the most quiet thing about it is you don't really hear English and you don't know what anybody's saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you're just attracted to, like, lights, different attractions. And I know when I was living there for a month, like, after I lived there for a month and I came to, you know, Wisconsin to see everybody, that was the loudest thing. It was going to the airport, like the Atlanta airport.
Yeah.
And able to hear everybody speak English and like understand. I was like, dude, this is too loud for me right now. Yeah, because we gotta think about it. I spent every day watching Japanese TV and like trying to figure out and be like, see like Trump there every now and then. I was like, oh, what happened now? Want to figure out, But other than that, like, watching sumo was pretty cool on TV.
Oh, wow.
Well, we were when we originally wanted to go, we were thinking about trying to go to attend. I still would want to go to a sumo wrestling match, but I guess they moved it down south in the southern part of Japan during that time. And but we were able to catch some matches on TV, and that was honestly, it was better than watching football. Like, it was pretty
it was so cool.
It was intense,
so cool.
but it took so long for each match to start, though.
Yeah.
It took
Really
took like 10 minutes in between. Like,
They were eating, bro. They were eating.
Yeah.
Well, it took 10 minutes in between, and it was just like, I don't know. And then we saw that one dude who probably broke his leg.
Yeah.
Like, so it's weird. Like, so it's like this. So everybody's like sitting on the floor. All the people that are like watching, the audience are sitting on the floor, and like they have like this giant mound and then this circle thing, and it was this one match and it was a good fight. And this one dude, like, he got pushed off, and he got to the point where he pushed off the mound, but he landed on his leg straight, like locked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was
Damn.
And we didn't see anything pop out, but they had to put him on a wheelchair, and he was sweating hard, and I was like, dude, that dude definitely broke something.
Yeah, dude.
He was
Wow.
20 people had to carry him out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which also was amazing is how much like a lot of non-Japanese were in the sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
There's
There's like a Serbian guy who was
There's like Serbian dude. There's
doing
like
great.
Yeah, there's like at least like 5 to 8 non-Japanese people, but you could tell like when they were fighting Japanese people, they're like, I'm gonna knock you out, Gaijin.
That's too
So
funny.
Yeah.
what else was another fun thing that we did?
Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli, yes.
The Studio
Right.
Ghibli Museum.
Studio
That was
Ghibli
probably one of the
Museum.
biggest highlights for me.
Wow.
It was super cheap to go, and that was
Yeah, my wife got it
Wow.
for us. It was it's only $10 to go in there.
Oh, cool.
And you can spend about a good like 2 or 3 hours there. I mean, I can understand why it's so cheap because everything else in there is so expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was even walking there. So we took a train. It was only 30, 45 minutes to get to. I forget the name of the town where it was at. It's doesn't even say. It just says Studio Ghibli.
we had to walk through a little bit of
About a mile.
yeah, and it was a nice walk.
But I mean,
It was a nice
that
walk.
place was nice. It was like next to a river.
And
Like,
giant tennis courts.
yeah, and then there was giant tennis courts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was great.
yeah,
That's
it was
great.
pretty cool. It was pretty cool also watching that little film from because they give you like a little ticket. You can watch like a little mini
Yeah.
Miyazaki film.
And they change
cool.
it every day.
Yeah.
So every time you go, it's a different
different
one.
one.
So they have like 7 or 8 different little short films they'll show you.
Yeah.
And one of them I really, really, really want to see. It almost looks like it's something from the same world as Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like the boy who ate a star or something. Or oh man, it looks so cool. And I tried to look for it, like somebody, even if it's like a bootleg recording, somebody's recorded with their phone.
Yeah.
I just want to see it, and because it looks so cool. And no,
Definitely,
couldn't find
yeah.
it.
Sounds very
Couldn't find it.
interesting.
So I was like, wow, this is wild.
Okay, well then I have a question. This is sort of random, but did you experience like any culture shock at all when you went there? Like, was there anything that like stood out to you that was so like? Obviously, there's gonna be things that are different when you're coming to Japan versus America, but like, was there anything that like really stood out to you guys that like any culture shock things or?
I think you've had more. For me,
Yeah,
not
just
too
more
much.
present.
I mean, the first time I ever went to Japan, I never had that much complete culture shock. Is that
Sure.
when you Japan and Hawaii are very similar in a sense. I mean, it's not as small, but I mean, like as far as like some of the cultural stuff like that, I'm used to it. So
Yeah. Sure.
I think the only thing that's like more of a shock is just the fact that maybe how much porn is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in just like, or I shouldn't say porn, but how sexually open they are, because even like in kids shows they show like private parts and stuff like that, but as like it's funny to them, it's nothing sexual, like they're doing anything like.
Sure.
But
So where they do that, and then like when you actually watch porn, they graphic.
oh yeah,
things
they
out.
bleep
So-
they bleep out like they'll show you like
So goofy.
yeah they'll show you the work, like she's getting pumped but his wiener's blurred out or,
Yeah.
That's so
because
weird,
it's
huh?
because it's and I've asked my wife that, and it's because it's like it's embarrassing. I don't know. Maybe got
shame.
It's shameful or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I mean, you can find the ones without it. But you know.
Interesting.
But
just gotta do some digging.
Other than that, no, not really. Just maybe because even my in-laws are kind of different from most Japanese people.
Yeah.
Like they accepted me.
Yeah.
Dumbasses. No, I'm just
No, but as far I think the trip with Zach, I think the tattoo thing might have been
I think the tattoo is like the biggest thing. The tattoo is the biggest thing, and I think it was very interesting. I think it would be interesting to see some you know, I don't know, some of the alt-left weeby kind of people try to go into a restaurant and then have them be like, no, can't come in here.
Yeah.
Or go into a business and be like, no gaijin. You know, because right, because they're all segregation happened yesterday. It's like, oh, you can go to Japan, but they also like, you know, I know a lot of these guys and gals who go to these anime conventions. They love anime, but they're also like super left leaning politically on the political spectrum, and going there and experiencing some of that. I wonder how they would take it or how they would feel, because this isn't 1960s. Yeah. It's like no.
I think
they do have they're very old school, and you kind of hit it on the head earlier with like they're very traditional, very old school with a lot of the stuff, and everything is kind of black and white, right? And it's kind of like they have the mentality of America from the 1960s or 1950s still in a lot of different respects,
right?
You know, and some of it I agree with, some of it I disagree with. But yeah, so I think that was very.
I think as far as Tokyo, I wouldn't be too worried about it because it is a big metropolitan city. I mean, I've heard things from other people saying like, people who like work for other companies. I've talked to like when I was traveling back to America, from how they will work in rural areas and they won't get accepted to restaurants just because. And I don't think the owners are trying to be mean, but I think they just don't know how to deal with translation barriers. So it's like, sorry, you can't eat in my restaurant because I can't communicate with you.
Yeah, and they want to provide you the best service.
Well, and they are all about service.
Yeah,
they are 100% about service. I mean, we flew American to Japan, but even like the service to. Like you get a oshibori every time, you know, the hot towel.
Yeah.
Towel. That's awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you get an oshibori, to like wipe your hands or your face, and like they make sure everything's okay. And like I like the way how they do the service out there too. It's like they don't bug you unless you ring something to, you know, come there. Like that's how it was at the restaurant, you know, every time. I mean, of course my family kept on hitting the button for more beer, but it's like, what do you want? So. But,
and I think they can probably get away with some of it because their culture is so homogenous. I actually have the stats up for that. If I didn't block it out, yeah. So it's a little less than 3 million of their population is non-Japanese. So that means it's like 2.2% of their total population is not Japanese. So 97.8% of the population is Japanese. So they're very homogenous.
Sure. Yeah.
So they can probably get away with like things like the language barriers and everything because the minority is not. There are really no minorities.
There is no minority.
Everyone's Japanese.
I think that's what I was saying.
So,
we have much. Like if we went to, just maybe we took a car and drove like 4 hours somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like or even like when I first was living in Fujimi for a few months with Maya and whatnot. I'd take walks by myself, and kids would point at me and they would laugh. You know, they'd be like, "Well, because you know it's like I'm a 6'2", you know, 280 pound dude like walking around."
They're not gonna see that every day.
Yeah,
you know, they're not gonna see that every day.
Like, holy shit, look what's this guy doing? Or like if I could walk in a store, I could tell like you know, like
you're being stared
what
at.
are you doing here?
People,
like,
yeah.
Well, because like where my wife lives, again, it is like an hour away from like a major part where they would have people like that. Or it's also funny, like if I'm walking down the street with my wife and like you see an older couple and like what's this? You know?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I bet.
Diluting. You're diluting. You're dipping. You're dipping in someone else's pot. You're like,
I think some of that is. I thought that some of that was interesting, and some of that was a culture shock. I guess I mean, like what to your point. I think it was kind of like half the time people are giving you weird looks. Half the time they're looking at you like you're a celebrity.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they're interested, but I mean, they definitely. As far as in Japan, like I know there's huge racism out there.
Yeah, I mean that's also America.
Yeah,
too, so.
yeah. But I mean, like it's just because again, like he's saying, it's 97% of the population is just straight Japanese.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah. So I mean, makes me wonder. Like for instance, like what was it? The tennis player who's just from Japan, like she's half black, half Japanese. The new one.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, but Japan accepted her so she could be at the Olympics for Japan. They gave her a bunch of money. And like I know a bunch of Americans got upset about it, but she was like, well, she's gonna get more money from Japan. Let her be the Japanese.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah.
Well, the thing is like I'm surprised they even did that because I think also I was like a few years ago I was reading up on something about how a half black, half Japanese woman won a Japanese beauty pageant, and it created a huge stir in Japanese.
That's what my dad was kind of saying. He was kind of like, because when I had brought up some of the different things that we had experienced and everything, and he was kind of like, he's like, yeah, well, I always heard that they were kind of racist and everything, and I was like, I'm like super into anime, and I never noticed, I do all these martial arts, and I try to like. Not that I'm up in their culture or whatever. I kind of just enjoy these things.
Right.
But I never picked up on any of that. That's what was almost more shocking to me is that I never really came across in these like in the martial arts world or in the anime world.
Right.
I never really picked up on these vibes. So
I mean, I think
it was very interesting.
Yeah. Well, but then again, you picked it up over here, too, in America, where they're probably the people that we're dealing with are more accepting. Again, like I said. We should try to check out places that are more rural area. Maybe go with Maya.
Yeah.
Check it out and see what happens there. Like let's try to walk in a store and be like, "Can I get this?" And it's like, "No." And then hopefully my Japanese will be better so I can speak to them.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
what you just did too. I love that they hold their hands up and make an X with their arms to say no instead of shaking their head. They kind of do that.
Well, that also means
it's like warding off the devil or something.
No. I've learned it because my background's like restaurant, service industry, and that's how they usually go check,
Yeah,
and
I guess if they can't communicate to you, they're gonna. Have to try
it's like
do something.
Yeah, so that's how but also at the same time, like no, thank you, no, like there's also certain hand gestures you gotta watch out for to say that, but I forgot them all, but yeah, I mean, it's a great place. I think everybody should go visit. I mean, I've been there 4 times. I think I keep on telling myself every time, I want to go try to travel to like Kyoto or Osaka.
Yeah.
Osaka is definitely where they have Universal Studios and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's where I really want to go this next time.
It's
it's like Disney World for anime people.
Oh wow!
I looked at it and I was like.
That is so cool.
But I discovered it like 2 or 3 days before we were going to leave. Yeah. It was kind of pricey.
Yeah.
The train ride itself.
The train ride, it's like expensive. $400. Yeah. Well, or like even go up north to Hokkaido. Like Hokkaido's like more of rural farmland area, but it's also like during this time, it's like there's ski resort area. Okay. And but yeah, I mean, there's much more to it, and one of these days we'll get to it.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
I have one more question to wrap things up, I guess. What do you miss most about Japan? Just being there.
Katsu.
The food. Yeah.
No. Grandma-san.
Obasan?
Obasan's
grandma. Sorry,
Okazan. I miss Okazan.
Oh.
I'm gonna get her name tattooed on my forehead. Speaking of tattoos, I also got a tattoo there, and that was kind of neat. Considering I felt the need to cover all my tattoos after like day 2. It was like the second or third to last day there. I got a tattoo there. Yeah, I thought that would be neat to say I got a tattoo from Japan. I guess.
Yeah. Are there a lot of tattoo shops even though?
There are. Like I said, the whole stigma of the tattoo thing is it's going down. But I mean, it's probably going to take another generation to die off, and that's going to be a long time because most people live up to like at least 90 to 100 in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, so you still have a good like 30 years of Kazan.
Oh yeah. I'm bringing you to the States, baby. Promise. All right.
You're funny.
Yeah, I mean I miss my wife, of course.
that was our trip to Japan.
Yeah, yeah, and that was it. So,
All right. Till next time. This has been Zac, Mike, and Keura. And
Bye.
yeah, later.
Bye.